Have you ever wondered if I wanted to have a nonprofit and a for-profit at the same exact time, be a realtor and a life coach at the same time? How can I juggle it all and make it all happen and make it look good? In this interview, we have a rock star who's going to give you all of her golden nuggets. Plus, she's going to tell you what she's passionate about and how she's making a difference in her community, not only in her city, state, but actually nationally. This is the ME Show.
On me, girls on me, on the dance floor, all eyes on me. Who is he? Then you better come get your girl dog. All eyes on me, party like a rock star. You can find me in VIP. All eyes on me, yeah, where the girls are. This is how your night should be. All eyes on me,
all eyes on the prize, money supersized. G5 super fly, should be supervised. Do or die, open up your eyes, head to the sky. Keep a mean bad mommy on the side. Make a tsunami, kamikaze on the mind. Spit flow, paparazzi, flash shine. Get dough, champagne, Merlot. Cash and tango, in the VIP. Now she wanna touch her ankle. Get low, mueve mami como el dembow. All eyes on me, peeping through the window. Get mine, get yours, believe it or not. In the meantime, I'ma keep my eyes on the
all
top.
eyes on me, drinks on me, girls on me, on the dance floor. All eyes on me, who is he? Man, you better come get your girl dog. All eyes on me, party like a rock star. You can find me in VIP. All eyes on me, yeah, where the girls are. This is how your night should be.
All eyes on me indeed. Now, I told you I'm going to introduce you to a rock star, and I meant every single word of it. This incredible individual is a young lady who happens to be a realtor. She actually is a life coach who helps people to understand financial literacy and how actual money works. And she's an author and a ghostwriter, and probably one of the best interviews that I'm going to have in a very, very long time. Ladies and gentlemen, help me welcome the one and only Angel Roberson. What's going on, superstar?
Oh, it's all good. After that music, I thought I can't help but be happy. That was amazing.
I'm telling you, I try to get the bloodstreams going before we get the show on the road, you know?
Hey, it's circulating. It's circulating. I tell you, it really is.
Yes, indeed. Well, first and foremost, thank you for giving me the time out of your busy schedule to chat with me and the people for a little bit. And for those who may not know your story, would you mind digging a little bit on how it all began for you, where you are right now, and what should we anticipate from the great Angel Robinson?
Well, this is so interesting. My story is kind of long, and I will try to encapsulate it for you. But I grew up in one of the largest minority communities in the United States. It's called the Cooper Road, right in Shreveport, Louisiana. And at some point, it was annexed. However, it was also known as, quote unquote, the worst area in the city, which is kind of incredible because I actually love the area. But I just remember growing up and they're saying, oh, we were the poorest. Oh, people didn't even want to come to our neighborhood. I would find out, for instance, or people would find out where I was from and that I was growing up in the projects. And all of a sudden they didn't want to deal with me as a person. And I realized, wow, I'm being judged, not for who I am. I'm literally being judged for where my family lives. And I realized early on the impact that class, if you will, had on you as a person and the way people viewed you. So I'm going to fast forward several years where I didn't have some of the opportunities that others had, but I wanted to become a news reporter. And I just asked a young lady, I believe, like Les Brown says, there's just something in the entrepreneurial type, or those of us who say we don't think we have to go the path that other people take. I kind of jumped out of the line, and I was told you have to have a bachelor's degree in order to make this happen. You have to do this to make that happen. And I called someone who was on the station, an anchor, and I said, hey, how did you become a reporter? You don't have a degree, do you? And she said, no, I don't. Tell me the path that you took. And she told me the path. And I said, you know what? I'm going to take that same path. Do you know, I called the radio station and I said, hey, my name is Angel Roberson. I know I could do what you guys are doing. No, I don't have a degree. I don't. But if you allow me, I will come in and I will intern for free. You don't have to do anything for me. Just allow me to learn this skill set. And so what happened was every morning, Monday through Friday, I showed up at 4 a.m. Do you hear me? 4 a.m. and stayed there, worked, even did news reports and whatnot for 6 months. So naturally, when a position came open for a news reporter, Guess who got the job?
You got the job.
I did.
Sure.
No matter what people said. So I left the news business because I went into television, left all of that, and I was more concerned about ministry, to be honest with you. I was so concerned that I wasn't really making a difference. And then I was also concerned that the news industry just wasn't paying me the money that I knew I was worth, if that makes sense to you. It's like, I am worth so much more than this. I have so much more to offer. Most people want to be seen on television or want their voices heard. If it were not with some type of message that was making a difference in people's lives, I could care less about my voice being heard. But I knew that there was something that I had to share with other people and young people because of my life, because of all the things that I endured, which I'm not talking about right now, but because of everything I endured growing up in the projects. I realized that these young people are at a disadvantage because of what I would argue is one of the most neglected core life skills, and that is financial literacy.
Right.
It's not being taught. And so after doing a lot of things, being editor-in-chief of a newspaper, going into teaching, I have an eclectic background because I'm project-oriented, if you will. So after doing several things, our creator just nudging at me, instead of just babbling about it, Angel, do something about it. And that's how we formed the Wealth Generators Club.
I love it, and I love how you made it happen. It wasn't given to you. It wasn't, like the traditional route. And speaking of traditional, so this morning we were privileged to spend some time with Les Brown, and one of the things that he spoke about was jumping out of line, and that is definitely something that you've done. The majority of the people that would be out there, they would go, I'm going to go to school, I'm going to go to college, I'm going to apply. Hopefully something happens. But you actually jumped out of line and he said, nah, I'm not going to go that route. I'm going to pick up the phone and say, hey, I got the goods and you want to give me an opportunity. And then you took it even a step further where you invested in yourself. You said, hey, I'm not asking you for a check. I'm going to show you, I'm going to earn what I do. So talk to me about what was the driving force that led you from, where you were just, okay, which direction do I go to? I know where I'm going and I know I'm going to be like, where did that come from?
Well, one, I know whose I am and I know who I am, right? My mother, however, is also whose I am. And my mother was an incredible lady who I saw do things as well. So I did have in the projects a mother who I saw push through. And when she became a Mary Kay salesperson, Mary Kay lady, she introduced me to entrepreneurship. And I remember asking this burning question when I was 19 years old. I was just out of high school. And I remember just walking outside and thinking about all the people in the world and their financial state. Some people were living in 4-story homes. Other people were in the projects, just people, varying amounts of money. And I asked myself, what is the difference between one person and the other? And then another burning question was, if I don't do in life what I really desire to do in life, what's the point?
Yeah.
What's the point? It's like, if I don't do in this life what I'm really do or what I desire to do, what's the point? So the idea of regretting that, and I mean, even as a young person, I could tell you a story and I don't want to creep anybody out, but literally when I was a little girl, I looked around and I said, ooh, somebody's responsible for all this complexity around me. And I even said to God, if I can't know you, you know what I'm saying? If you've done all this and you've created me, then there is more that I need to know. And I'm telling you, even as a little child, that challenge put me on a path that showed me that God has created this universe in a way that literally, if you believe a thing, first of all, if you believe a thing, you're going to act on it. I don't know what you believe by what you show me, then it will come to pass. Everything I've done, from teaching without a degree, all these things were done that I was told I couldn't do. And I thought, amazing. And the world probably shouldn't be, rotating on a 23-degree axis either, if you really think about it.
Yeah.
But we're here. So that thought of not, it was really regret. The thought of regretting not living the life that I wanted to live. And then you're unhappy when you're not doing what you really desire to do.
That's so true.
It is.
You know, and it's interesting. You know, you talk about, you know, you identified that desire. You know, in a system that we grew in, whether it's school system, whether it's our own society, whether sometimes it's the closest people to us, they develop us with a lot of limiting beliefs that we are so oblivious to the idea of I want to have a burning desire, or I want to act on my desire. For those who are watching and might be on that little bit of lost moment, how do you help somebody identify their desire, and how do they kind of get some action instead of falling into the victim mentality? No one is giving me a job, no one is giving me an opportunity. Like, how do you identify that burning desire and just going out there and making it happen?
Well, I think, a lot of people hear this said all the time. What would you do if you didn't even have to get paid for it? What would you do for the rest of your life and enjoy it without ever having to get a dime? If just everything were taken care of, you didn't have to worry about food, water, shelter, all these things. What would you do?
Yeah.
Every day that you just, that's that burning desire. But another thing, people make excuses, but I love to teach people what I recognized as a child. And that is that the systems were created by people. I'm a people, and all people are really in one way equal, meaning that we all have the capacity, potential to do so many things. When I realized that there was no one greater than me, you follow?
Yep.
When there is no one less than me, and all of these systems were created by by people, then I realized that that's what people do. So I'm going to create my own system, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And so it's just like, okay, so you guys get to create, I get to create, but I'm going to choose for myself, because you have no one anywhere really has any authority or power over you unless it is given. So really and truly, all day, every day, all we're doing is giving permission to everything, whether it's permission to thoughts, permission to other people's, thoughts about us. So just, finding that burning desire is really, what is that thing you would do, that thing that brings that smile to your face, if you didn't have to worry about this system? You follow?
Yeah, no, I love your attitude and your passion when you speak. Like, you can tell you're not scripted or here to sell something. So I know you're passionate about, helping the youth. Talk to us a little bit about that transition from going to, building a career, working for self, creating a path, and doing what you love to do, and ghostwriting, and you ghostwritten some incredible books and some incredible authors. But help us understand the passion that you have for your organization, and if you can educate a little bit more about it.
Well, thank you so much. I absolutely love young people. Love is the key word. I love young people as if I gave birth to them myself. That's how much I love young people. And I remember myself as a child, but being in the school system is what really made me realize that I had to help the young children, because I knew that they were stuck in a system that was training them to do what? The 40-40-40, which, just like Les said earlier, that's gone. And most everybody knows that day is gone. We're in the what? No longer, like he said, the brick and mortar, but now the click and order. So seeing that and knowing as an adult what they were going to, I said, oh my. Everybody says, if I had only known this when I was 17 or 18. But I thought, you know what? I can now be that person that makes sure they do know this when they are 15, 16, 17, 18. So the WGC, Wealth Generators Club, was born out of that. Our goal is to eradicate financial illiteracy wherever it may be found. And, understanding money is not hard. But if you don't know what you don't know until you know it, and I don't know whose quote that is, but it's just the absolute truth. And since the school system is not going to do it, at just little pieces, I thought, well, Angel, pull together the curriculum for it, pull together the program for it, find the people in the community who are, just as passionate. And who are they? They're the ones who are complaining about it all the time. So it rings with them. And so just God and his omnipotence, and it just helped when I called out to his universe. Then all of the people started showing up, and you know what I mean. When you
Mm-hmm.
really begin to work on something, then the people, the resources you need. Even most recently, me saying, "Hey, we've got a business incubator. I need someone. We've got to find someone who will help to personally develop these people." Dr. Breakthrough is my mentor. However, yep, was the answer to something that we were looking for. So God has a way of just pulling those things and bringing those people to you. So what we did was we designed a program that's the Wealth Generators Club, and it actually has 5 pillars. Financial literacy is, of course, the core of what we do, but we also have the WGC culture, and that culture is people who are committed long term to make sure that the landscape changes over several years, and that elementary school students, because now their families are literate, the 15 and 16-year-olds are coming out literate. Elementary school students begin to learn from their own families and know money before they graduate, and not because they're depending on a system, but because their parents took the reins and the responsibility, and began to teach. And so we've got the culture, we've got real estate. It's very important that people understand, after that, one, you just, people should own, they really should, but after you read an amortization chart and you realize that most people are going to pay it 3 times what they paid, what their mortgage said for the home. You're buying a $250,000 house and you're going to end up paying $700,000 for it. Get real. That is being on the wrong side of compound interest,
Yeah.
which is another big problem. Most people are on the wrong side of compound interest. So we have real estate. We teach people how to pay those houses off early. We teach them how to then take that money, reinvest, get out of debt, and then just do home buyers workshops and things just to help the people just to do better. We also, our philanthropy is a big deal for us. We have the Christmas drive going right now. We don't desire for these young people to have to pay for this stuff. So we've right now got the Christmas drive going where you and anyone who likes what we're doing can sponsor a child. It's only $50 for the whole year. And we do so many incredible things with these young people, the mentoring, the scholarships, so many incredible things besides the courses that they go through with us. And then finally, there's the business incubator. And I'm excited about that because we could talk about financial literacy, but they've got to get some cash flow, right? So we are introducing them to kind of non-competing ideas, all in the financial industry and the personal development industry, as to how they can earn cash flow and grow, and maybe start one and then move on to another that what is related, and build so they get to their 7 streams, which is our goal for everybody in that community. So
Yeah. Yeah, I love it. One thing that really resonate with me, and Dr. Breakthrough knows this, and many people, and you'll get to know this, as we work together a lot more often, God willing, is so I don't just feature anybody. And the reason I fell in love with what you're working on, you're focusing on the future. See, children are our future. There are a lot of people who have different feelings and emotions. Well, teach them and let them go ahead and do it on their own. Sure, but there needs to be a little bit of an assistance, because one thing that you said at the top of the interview is that I love children as if they are my kids. I love the youth as if I'm their own mother. If you have a child at home, you're going to do everything in your power to set that child up to win, whether it's college education or not, whether it is, saving money for them to start their own business. Just, I know myself, I'm not doing what I do for just making millions of dollars. I'm doing it for generational wealth, for the children of my children, because I believe that within my faith. And I also want to make sure that I set up my kids to have the best opportunities. So, I love that concept of focusing on the youth, which will be the next generation. I mean, if you want to take care of your future, take care of the next generations, and that's how it happens. The other thing that I fell in love with what you're doing is truly educating people. As you know, we share that common core value. Whether within our entrepreneur community or WGC, it's all about educating others to do better for themselves. And you go about it from such a practical way. Like, no, I'm not just gonna tell you and motivate you. I'm actually going to show you. It's a privilege to sit down with someone like yourself who actually knows their stuff and willing to say, okay, I'm going to show you how you are sitting on the right side of the table of that equation instead of being taken advantage of with compound interest and so on and so forth. And to be honest with you, now more than ever, I feel in the United States specifically, that's our home. There was at one point 40 million unemployed people in the country during COVID. Right now, it's over 27 million people who are still unemployed. And many of those who are unemployed just dropped out of collecting unemployment. That's what they're no longer collecting or accounted for. But I fear that, once the debt relief and the Real Estate Care Act is over, these banks are going to come after people and say, hey, I gave you a year off more without paying your mortgage. Now you got to pay me. So either you got to give me what you owe me or do a modification, or I'm taking the house. But I fear that there will be a lot of things and financial distress that is upon us. What is your advice to those who are watching to be prepared for the times that are coming ahead of us?
Well, there are a lot of hint, clues right now. There are a lot of hint, clues. And I will say this, you asked me what my advice is. Before I give the advice, it is, well, I'll just say it. Follow the money in a sense. Right now, there is a huge wealth transfer taking place. Don't be afraid to make the change. The online revolution is now hitting us in the face like bricks.
So true.
So, right now, you need to take advantage of and follow the Alis of the world, the Jimmys of the world, because what you're doing is you are ahead of the wave in a sense. All we're asking people to do really is, hey, ride our skirt tails, if you will. Not that you have one, but you understand what I'm saying.
I get you.
Hey, follow us, because we see what's coming. We see what's happening. Huge wealth transfer, the cryptocurrency. I know that there are people who are making millions of dollars who are transferring their money. So what would my biggest piece of advice to you be? Don't be afraid to change and grab a hold to the people who are embrace it and go for that ride, because you do not want to be left behind right now. You do not. The revolution is happening right in front of your face. Right in your face. Embrace it. Embrace mentors. Embrace people who care enough. And don't be afraid. Information is the biggest. Just get the information. And honestly, if all it is, it's just education. A little information can change your life.
It literally can.
So be open and be on the lookout for these opportunities is what I would just really say to people right now.
I love it. Well, so stick with me, because we do this thing that I purposely never prep any of my guests. It's called the $1 million question that's coming up. Yeah, I know. That's why it's called the $1 million question. Just so a few reminders, make sure you visit wgclub.org to see how you can sponsor a child and or help the organization to provide financial education, or maybe you need financial education. Maybe you need a life coach. Maybe you need advice on how to work around your circumstance, or if you're doing well, how to actually 10x that and make it better. And definitely to connect with the great Angel Roberson and all of the accolades and the knowledge that she has. I'm sure you don't mind if people connect with you. I'm hoping that's okay, that I'm inviting.
Fine. And they can reach me personally even at wgccar@gmail.com. It was the first email I put together when we got started. So it's now my personal email, wgccar@gmail.com. wgccar@gmail.com. Please reach out to me. Please do.
You've been given permission. So if I were you, I'll even send some friend requests right now and hit up that DM. Now, with that, before we get into the $1 million question, just a quick reminder for everybody. If you are a struggling entrepreneur and wanting to leverage social media and the digital space to create brand equity and revenue, I highly recommend you visit winwithali.com. There's nothing for you that you can buy, even if you want to. It's nothing but resources. So in there, you're going to find access to the podcast. We are literally streaming in 16 countries right now. You're going to find access to the audiobook we've released a month ago, the Lion Network Marketer audiobook, over 11,000 copies that have been downloaded already. So make sure you get yours. Yes, I still extended it. It is 100% complimentary. There's nothing for you to buy. And like I've mentioned, by the way, kudos and shout out to truthbetold.tv, the executive producer of the Lion Network Marketer. And I'm forever grateful for the work that they've done on it. But definitely visit us at winwithali.com. You can also book a complimentary coaching session for yours truly to listen to what you are working on. And maybe I can advise you on a thing or two. Now, ladies and gentlemen, the $1 million question. All right, Angel, you wake up tomorrow and all the resources and the connections that you have, all the websites, all just the network that you know and working with, poof, gone, no longer exist. You still have access to the world. You still have access to internet, but everything you've done thus far, as if it never existed, all the people you know, you have no relationships with. What are you doing to bounce back?
I'm just going to do it again. I've done that over and over in my life. I'm just going to do it again. It's the process. It's the process that I know. It's the process that I'm married to. I'm fine. I hope that wasn't too simplistic. I'm just
no.
do
Sometimes, listen, that's $1 million answer. I will do it all over again. Pick up that phone and say, hey, I might not have a degree, but I got work ethic. I got stamina, baby. I got passion, patience, and perseverance. And listen, first and foremost, again, thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to interview you. I know it was going to be an incredible one, and I hope this isn't going to be the last one. Or I hope I don't have to be on your wait list for a very long time until we get you back. So everybody, make sure you connect with Miss Angel Roberson and let her know what area of what we've talked about you can discover. Angel, I'll let you have the last 30 seconds. Any promising words or words of motivation to that one person who listened? We moved them a little bit, but they're like, yeah, but poor me. I'm not necessarily where I need to be. What is your word to that person?
Well, you are just one decision away from changing your life. And that decision is to change the way you're thinking. And that's it. Change the way you see things, and the things you see will change. I don't remember who that quote is by, but if you're in the driver's seat, change the way you see things, the things you see will definitely change. God's just set the universe that is up that way. That's it.
I love it. Well, ladies and gentlemen, this has been an exclusive of the ME Show. Until next time, hey, Angel, tell them peace out, everybody.
Deuces. Peace out, everybody.